Okay. I promise I'm not going to be dramatic for this one. No. Fuck no. I want nothing to do with YouTube. Done with it. What's going on? My name is Mark with Echelon Media, and today we're going to talk about whether or not you should quit YouTube or keep going in 2019. So, with YouTube being the second most used search engine in the world, second to Google, and that's actually divided between Google and Google Images, and getting up to 30, just a nice, reasonable amount of people to come and visit it at a modest 30 million visits a day. And with people projecting that, something in the neighborhood of about a third of all online traffic being primarily focused on video in the coming months, it's fairly safe to say that it may be well worth your time to actually work on your YouTube and or video presence. Now, before we get too carried away with this, I want to make sure that you go ahead and subscribe to the Echelon Media YouTube channel. And also make sure that you hit that notification bell if you haven't already, so that you make sure that you are not only subscribed to see more videos like this on a weekly basis, but also so that you get notification, a nice little reminder every time a new video comes out. Once again, I do try to get these published every week. And I'm trying to nail down the time to Monday so that you can take the time during the course of the week to digest the information and make use of it. But definitely subscribe if you're liking this content and all the content I've put out so far. Most of it I try to make as useful as possible so that you can apply it for yourself, whether you're a small brand or you're a business. I want to make it as usable as possible because I do have a tendency in the past to ramble on. And even though this is in a podcast format, I want to make sure that this is all very usable. So as you may notice, I'm going to be looking down at my notes. I'm going to be looking down at my notes fairly consistently here. So all that said, the biggest takeaways here, if you just want to get to the cribs notes of this, is that yes, YouTube is one of the most frequented sites in the world. And if you want to structure the videos that you create to be very focused on taking advantage of the way that people search, you can, if you happen to be an auto mechanic, you can create videos specifically generating value for people that actually address the problems that they may have, like how to change their oil or how to replace a flat tire, so that there is usable value in the content that you provide for people. If you happen to be a holistic practitioner, for example, maybe it's something like how to use certain herbs and holistic approaches to actually make your life better, or maybe how you can reduce the chances that you have candida in your system by eating a lower carb, low sugar diet, or however that happens to shake out. Whatever the case, that's the most simple way that you can go about making the best of YouTube and not have to feel like you're quitting, because I think the reason that most people want to quit YouTube or want to quit generating videos is because they feel like most businesses, you need to get proof. You need some sort of return on investment for what it is that you're creating. And in order to get in order for you to quantify that, you need numbers to really show that you're getting something. But the thing is, I want you to get away from that short-term return on investment mentality and get more focused on actually trying to create a brand that is more longer lasting and sticks in people's minds, so that even in instances like, say, an economic downturn, people can still remember you for the particular values that you represent. And it's something that people can turn to because, even in an economic downturn, people still have cars, and then people are still going to need to use those cars. And maybe more than ever, they have to pinch pennies and save money. So they have to do whatever they can to take on those repairs themselves. And if you generate that value, eventually, presumably down the road, when people are far better off, they can turn to you and use your services when they have money and they can have you change out their oil, or they can have you repair any flats in their tires or repair their tires outright. That is the idea here, is to generate goodwill through the value that you provide for the world, so that in turn, at some point, maybe people will want to come to you and use your services if you happen to be a small local business or just a local business in general. The problem with the whole ROI perspective is, and I've discussed this before in the past, is that it makes your messaging very pushy. It makes it so that your whole drive is actually to create things that are immediately asking people for a reaction, or are immediately asking people to buy into whatever it is that you're selling. The problem with that is, if you can imagine it in this context, if you were to go out with a person, and on that night, I think this is more on the guy side, if on the same night you ask the woman that you're on a date on to marry you, and ladies, maybe this can apply to you as well if you happen to want to do the more modern thing and flip the tables on the guy. If you're on a first date, and then based on a handful of little details, you say, you know what, I like this person so much, I'm going to spring the ring on them and say, hey, do you want to marry me? It just doesn't work that way, because you need to develop a relationship first. You need to get a sense for the other person for you to truly feel like, I do or I don't want to spend the rest of my life with this person. The same relationship dynamic applies when it comes to business. And that's why I say establish yourself as a brand for the long term, much in the same way that like a brand like Michelin, or much in the way that 3M has established themselves over a long period of time, and that they're almost just all over the place to the point where they're ubiquitous. They're inescapable, and you want to be about the same. When people start to think about auto repair, they want to think about your local shop because they've never left town. And they've always known you to be the one that's willing to give out free, valuable content. And you've also been able to provide great service to friends and family that people have heard of. And then eventually, if they need your services, they can come and turn to you. But otherwise, if you're thinking, okay, well, I've got a few pennies, I don't have a heck of a lot of time, I'm just going to do this YouTube thing for 3 months. The thing is, people don't know you. Like, that's extremely entitled. It just really doesn't work that way on the internet. And I want to demystify that fact, because I want you to be able to take advantage of this platform, because right now it's so easy to make the most of it. And the only real expense that you have when it comes to making the most out of YouTube or any video platform right now is just a matter of time. And you do have time, because when this platform either gets phased out or becomes more expensive because other companies have flooded that particular avenue, it's going to be that much harder to make use of it. And right now, it's so inexpensive. My little secret is, right now, even in 2019, YouTube and other video platforms are still really great platforms to use and are super inexpensive for you to establish yourself as a brand. So make the best of it, because bigger companies haven't quite caught on. And also at the moment, it just gives you the freedom to create anything that you feel really speaks to your character, to be able to draw in and qualify the kind of clientele that you actually want for your business. So if you happen to have a weird sense of humor that only, caters to people who are super into Monty Python, you can create branding for your shop if you happen to run a small boutique or a quaint little English restaurant in your small corner of the world in, let's say, Wisconsin. At the very least, you can create marketing around your business that is catered to Monty Python enthusiasts. I know this is really weird and far-fetched, but that's just a creative freedom that you have in being able to draw in the type of people that would actually be into going to a Monty Python themed English restaurant in Wisconsin. I know that sounds strange, but that is the absolute part of the empowerment that I want to provide you, because why not? And there's more than enough room to really set yourself apart from everybody else. Because Jim down the street may have a similar restaurant, but maybe they're more into, I don't know. Maybe Jim down the street is more into Robin Hood. And if that's his deal, then let Jim do Robin Hood stuff while you do Monty Python stuff. And you both can live happily in the same neighborhood, serving up English food with different feelings. And people can get bought into that. So long as you both can very well maintain good, consistent business, because people are absolutely bought into who you are and the uniqueness of what it is that you provide. Yet another reason why you want to make the most out of YouTube is that the platform is still growing. And even though you really can't make money off of YouTube in the old sense that people used to think, because I get this question all the time, can you make money off of the ads on YouTube? And unless you have millions of followers, you really can't. But maybe you're just the kind of personality that can draw in 1 million followers or so. So maybe you can, but you won't know unless you've tried. All that aside, you can use YouTube to create branding to be able to sell other products based around your business. I've talked about this in the past, but definitely YouTube is still worth it. That's the point I want to hammer home. And the reason why I say this is because it's just a matter of human behavior. Ultimately, people connect to you because they get to see your face. They get to experience the little nuances that make you you. And it's because of these little quirks and character traits about you that people get bought into you or they don't. And that is ultimately what keeps them in the business. Sure, your quality of product and service are important as well. Those are absolutely paramount. But the inescapable part of that is who you are as a person. And people appreciate that. So put that out there. And YouTube is a great way to do that. You can't do that in pictures really because you can fake the hell out of pictures. You really can't do that in written posts like on a blog. But if you have something that is incorporated into your blog, like a video blog or a piece of value-driven content that you could provide for people, you're absolutely off to the races. Now, obviously, like I mentioned before, there is an investment in time and there is a learning curve to making the best of YouTube. It's not just going to fall in your lap and be super easy from day one. You do have to learn it. But understand, like everything that you've ever done in your business, everything that you've ever done to become successful in your business, you probably had to put in the time to really get good at it. And the same thing applies for something like YouTube. It's just another tool. And so give it the same consideration and patience that you would for everything else that you've done in the past, and you will succeed. Give it time. You didn't land at this place of success you have in your business like that. So what makes you think that just because something is on an online platform, that just because something is readily and easily available on your phone or a tablet or on your computer, that it's just going to be like magic and instantly work for you? It just isn't like that. This illusion of convenience that comes with technology has to go away because there is a learning curve. Not only is there a learning curve, but there's also competition from other businesses and other people who want to succeed on that platform. So of course you have to stand out. And if you've already done that in the real life setting of your actual brick and mortar business, or where you have to deal with the competition of people locally, you can very well do that on this platform. And even though you're competing with a lot of other people, you can still stand out in your own little way. Thanks as always for checking this out. I do hope that this was informative. I know a lot of it can be redundant because a lot of the things that I have to say are all based around this notion of empowerment and hopefully providing you with valuable content so you can take this information and apply it to your business so that you can succeed on a much greater scale. Thanks as always for checking out this video. Go ahead and give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and make sure that you share it with somebody that could probably use this information because maybe they're a little bit concerned about whether I should still do YouTube or not. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions, thoughts, ideas, whatever it is, go ahead and leave that in the comments section. And of course, go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you're updated every single time I drop a video. If you happen to be on Facebook, go ahead and leave a comment for the same reasons as well. If you have any thoughts, ideas, suggestions, comments, concerns, what have you, go ahead and do that. Make sure that you like the Echelon Media page. And of course, give it a thumbs up because all these little things do help. As always, my name is Mark with Echelon Media, helping you elevate story. Thank you so much for watching this. Peace out, and I'll see you later.